This is the first video in a series on formulae. Formulae were met in the area and volumes videos. We're going to use these as an introduction. This video is about unfamiliar formulae and how to evaluate them. So here's one you should know: a cylinder, its volume is V equals pi r squared h. The diameter here is 12 and the height is 20. So r is 6, half that 12. The h is 20. You substitute into the formula. That's the decimal answer. 3 significant figures in this case, 2,260 cubic centimetres. We're going to prefer to leave answers as exact answers. That is, we don't want to substitute for pi. Pi, even off the calculator, is an approximation. So if we are calculating the volume here with r being 6 and h being 20, we work out 6 times 6 times 20, which is 720, and the answer is 720 pi cubic centimetres. So that will be the exact answer because pi has been left unsubstituted. This was met in the videos on volume. The same example is this cylinder. Its volume is the same as this other cylinder, and you have to work out the missing height. So this one on the left is the example we just had in the previous slide. It's volume 720 pi. So this cylinder has volume 720 pi, so V will become 720 pi. Its R is 10, half that 20. H we have to find. 10 times 10 times pi is 100 pi. Divide 100 pi into the 720 pi, and the answer is exactly 7.2. The pi's cancelled off and it was 720 divided by 100. So that's using the exact volume. This also has been met in previous videos on area. If you want the surface area of a cylinder's got two circular ends, so that's 2 pi r squared in area, and it's got a curved surface pi dh. So that was used in the area videos. R is 5, half this 10, and h is 15. If you work out the 2 pi r squared, work out the pi dh, and add them together, you get the total surface area. So that's 2 pi times radius times radius. That works out at 50 pi. The pi dh is pi times 10 times 15. That's 150 pi, and you add them together. So the surface area is exactly 200 pi square centimetres. Now, that's been met before. Going to do the same cylinder again with a formula you're not familiar with, which would be that. This equally works out the surface area, 2 pi r multiplying the brackets r plus h. So you'd work out 2 pi r, work out r plus h, and they get multiplied together. So 2 pi r is 2 pi times radius 5. The r plus h is simply adding radius 5 and 15. They are being multiplied together in this formula. 10 pi multiplies 20, and it's 200 pi. So that was met in the video on area. That's an unfamiliar formula, which is what this video is about. You've got a formula. You see the context with a cylinder. You know what to substitute for R and H, and then you just evaluate the formula. So, unfamiliar formulae, given in some context, you substitute for the quantities, that is the letters, and carry out the calculation, evaluate. So here's an example. This was also met in the videos on volume. When it was met, you got the volume of a sphere, 4/3 pi r cubed, halved it for a hemisphere, got the volume of a cone, V equals 1/3 pi r squared h, added the volume of the hemisphere and the cone together. This formula, which you will never met, does it in one go. So r is the radius, there it is there, that's 6 obviously, and the h is the height, there it is here, the height, it's 15. So there's a formula, unfamiliar formula, there's a context, understanding the context, you can see substitute for r being 6 and h being 15. We take a third pi r squared, we work out 2r plus h, and they get multiplied together. So that's what the formula is telling us to do. Third pi r squared with r being 6, that comes out exactly at 12 pi. 2r plus h, that's twice the 6 plus the 15. That's 27. And then they get multiplied together, 27 times 12 pi. Exact answer, 324 pi cubic centimetres for volume. So an unfamiliar formula, and you just realise what's going on and substitute for the letters. Here's another one. This one won't be an exact answer, it's going to be a decimal answer. It doesn't involve pi. This is a prism. Its surface area is, it's a hexagon on each end, and there's rectangles, 6 of them, along the depth of the prism. So, looking at the diagram here with D and H, you can see obviously D is 6, there it is, and H is 10. All you put in here is D being 6 and H being 10. Work out 3D, work out the brackets and multiply. So 3D is 3 lots of 6. Root 3 times the 6 plus twice the 10. Now, root 3 times 6 is 6 root 3. It's not root 18, that would be root 3 times root 6. You've got to be careful with things like that. If you slot it in the calculator, you've got to be careful when you put in root 3 to make sure the cursor comes outside the 3 before you multiply by 6. So the calculator doesn't think you're multiplying root of 3 times 6. It's root 3 and then that times 6. So the calculator should give you that answer. Use it unrounded. These two things get multiplied together in the formula, the brackets and the 3D. So it's 18 times this 30.39. And then at the last stage, it's rounded to 3 significant figures. So again, an unfamiliar formula. You look at the context from the diagram and you can see the numbers to substitute. There's a worksheet. If you click the link in the description, you'll get access to the worksheet and it'll have the answers with it. Number 1 is same prism, but its volume is worked out with this formula. That's the only answer, it'll be a decimal answer. You'll get it with the worksheet. If you click the link in the description, the answers will be there. For all the others, from question 2 to the end, they're all given as multiples of pi. So you've met that formula in the example, just showed you one with it. The answers will be on the sheet in blue. And gradually, just different formulae working out, in this case, a curved surface. Curved surfaces were worked out in the area videos, but using a different method, using sectors of circles. Again, surface areas, sphere, cylinder put together. So gradually the formula will get more and more complicated. That's number 8. Again, the volume of these shapes were worked out by taking a cone away from a cone. But this formula, which looks quite complicated, it's not too difficult to use, works out the answer for the volume of these shapes. So if you click the link in the description, that's the worksheet. It's got 8 questions, and then it's got the answers in blue there. The next video is on constructing formulae. Hope you found this video useful. Thank you.